Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Unlock with Alex. Today we have a special 1-hour listening and shadowing practice. This is a calm, slow story about life, change, courage, and growing as a person. The English is simple, clear, and spoken gently, perfect for beginners. Just relax, listen, and let the words flow. You can listen as many times as you like. Repeat after me. Shadow my voice. This is how your ears, your mouth, and your mind slowly start to feel English as something natural. No grammar rules today, no long word lists, just a story. Because stories are one of the most powerful ways to learn a language. They carry real emotions and real life inside them. If you enjoy this practice, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who is learning English. It means the world to us and helps us create more lessons like this one. Now, find a comfortable place, take a slow breath, and let's start the journey together. My name is Alex. I'm 30 years old, and I live in a quiet little town right by the ocean. Every morning I wake up early. I push open my bedroom window and let the cool sea air drift in. The sky is usually pale and peaceful. I love mornings. They always feel like the world is giving me a fresh page. I make myself a warm cup of tea, sit near the window, and watch the sun rise little by little. Today feels different. Today is the beginning of something new for me. For many years, my days looked exactly the same. Wake up, go to the office, come home, eat, sleep, and do it all again tomorrow. It wasn't a bad life, but it wasn't alive either. I felt like a tiny boat stuck in the same small harbor, too afraid to sail out into the wide ocean. I want more. I want to discover who I really am. I want to become calmer, braver, and kinder. So I made a quiet promise to myself. Starting today, I will say yes to new things. Every week I will try at least one thing I have never done before. It doesn't matter if I do it perfectly. What matters is that I begin. I wrote the promise on a small piece of paper and stuck it on my wall. The words are short, but they feel strong. Real growth doesn't come in one giant jump. It comes from hundreds of tiny, gentle steps. I finish my tea, and for the first time in a long while, I feel both nervous and excited at the same time. Something inside me is waking up, and this time I'm ready to follow it. Week 1, I choose something small. Instead of taking the bus to work, I decide to walk. It's not a huge change, but the moment my feet touch the street, everything feels new. The morning air is cool and smells like salt from the sea. The streets are still sleepy and quiet. As I walk, I begin to see things I never noticed before. There's a little bakery on the corner. The warm smell of fresh bread floats out every time the door opens. An old gray cat is curled up on a bench, stretching in the early sunlight. A father walks by holding his small daughter's hand. They are about something only the two of them understand. These are ordinary moments, but today they feel beautiful because I am really here. I'm not hurrying. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm just walking, breathing, and seeing the world with open eyes. It makes me wonder how many lovely things have been around me all this time. I just never slowed down enough to notice them. The walk is longer than I thought. My legs get tired. A couple of times I almost give up and jump on a bus. But then I remember my promise. Keep going, I tell myself. Just one small step, then another. And slowly, something changes. My legs feel stronger. The distance feels shorter. The morning feels brighter. A soft voice inside me whispers, "This is how everything begins. One brave little step after another." When I finally reach the office, I'm warm and a little out of breath, but I feel wide awake. I feel alive. So I decide to try one more new thing today. I'm going to talk to Sarah. She works in the same office. I always see her in the break room reading wonderful books. I've wanted to speak to her for months, but I was too shy. I always thought, she's busy. She won't want to talk to me. Today, I choose to be brave. I walk over, smile, and say, "Hi, Sarah. That book looks really good. What's it about?" She looks up and smiles back. Such a warm smile. "It's about a man who leaves everything behind and walks across Europe," she says. And just like that, we start talking. My voice shakes a little at first, but after a minute, it feels easy. We talk about books, about places we dream of visiting, about the best meal we've ever eaten. I discover she is kind and funny and loves to laugh. Later, when I think about it, I realize something important. Most of my fears lived only in my imagination. They looked big and dark, like monsters under the bed. But when I turned on the light and looked, there was nothing there. That evening, walking home, my legs are tired again, but my heart feels light and full. In one single day, I did 2 new things, 2 small steps, and already the world feels a little wider, a little kinder, a little more like home. This is only the beginning, but I can feel it. Something beautiful is growing inside me, one gentle step at a time. Walking to work and speaking to someone new, they seem like tiny things, but inside me they feel enormous. That night, I open my little notebook and write, "Today I took 2 steps forward. They were small, but they carried me. I felt the breeze on my cheeks. I really saw the streets I walk every day. I spoke without hiding, and I discovered that change begins with the simplest choice you are brave enough to make." I read the words and smile. Growth is not a sprint. It is a quiet, steady walk. One foot, then the other. And I am learning to love every part of the path. The next morning, I walk again. This time, I notice even more. The soft crunch of leaves under my shoes. The warm smell of coffee drifting from a little cafe. The way golden sunlight rests on the rooftops like a gentle hand. I say good morning to the gray cat on the bench. The father and his little daughter wave at me as they pass. In that moment, I understand something new. Small steps may look ordinary from the outside, but they quietly change the eyes you see the world with. One evening, after a long day, I decide to take a different way home, along the sea. The sun is sinking, painting the sky pink and orange. The waves roll in slowly, whispering against the shore. The air is cool and tastes of salt. Everything feels peaceful. Near the water, I see an old man sitting alone on a weathered wooden bench. His face is covered in deep lines, like pages of a book that has been read many times. But his eyes are bright and kind, full of light. Something pulls me toward him. I sit down nearby. He turns, smiles softly, and says, "Good evening." We begin to talk. His voice is low and slow, matching the rhythm of the waves. His name is Samuel. He is 80 years old and has lived in this town his whole life. Almost every evening he comes to this bench, he says, to watch the sea and to think. "The sea is my oldest friend," he tells me with a quiet laugh. "It never stops teaching me." I ask what he means. He lifts a hand toward the water. "Look," he says. "Some days the waves are gentle. Some days they crash and roar, but they never stop moving forward. Life is exactly the same. It brings calm seasons and stormy seasons, but it always moves. The sea has taught me patience, and it has taught me strength." Then he looks at me, his eyes warm and steady, and says something I know I will carry forever. We grow when we learn to listen, really listen, to the world, to other people, and especially to the quiet voice inside ourselves. Most of us talk far too much and listen far too little. But when you truly listen, life becomes the gentlest and wisest teacher. I sit in silence for a long time after he speaks. The sound of the waves feels deeper now. The breeze feels like it is carrying secrets. On the walk home, Samuel's words travel with me. I realize I spend so much energy trying to control everything, my days, my plans, my future. I worry about every possible mistake. But maybe real growth is not only about planning and pushing. Maybe it is also about trusting the journey, trusting that if I pay attention, life itself will show me the way. That night I sit by my window again. The sky is black and filled with stars. Everything is still. I open my notebook and write, "Today I learned how to listen." Wisdom often arrives without noise, like a soft wave touching the shore. From that day forward, listening becomes my quiet daily practice. I listen to raindrops tapping on the glass. I listen to children laughing in the street. I listen to the hush of the night. And most of all, I begin listening to myself, to my thoughts, even the restless ones, to my feelings, even the heavy ones, to my fears, not to push them away, but to understand them. Little by little, I start to know myself better. I see patterns. I discover what truly makes my heart light and what weighs it down. I learn to be kinder to my own emotions. Listening turns into a bridge between me and the world, and between me and the person I am becoming. Day by day, a gentle transformation grows inside me, quiet and strong, like a tree putting down deeper roots. Life is always speaking, in the wind, in the waves, in the voices around us, and in the soft beating of our own hearts. All we need to do is stop and listen. 2 weeks later, I decide to try something that truly frightens me: speaking in front of people. Every Friday, our team has a short meeting. Usually, I sit quietly and say nothing. But this Friday, when the manager asks if anyone has ideas for the new project, I feel my heart racing. My palms are sweaty. A nervous voice in my head whispers, "You'll mess up. Everyone will think you're foolish." But then I remember my promise. I remember Samuel's calm eyes. I remember the small steps that have already carried me so far. I take a slow breath, and I raise my hand. I have an idea I'd like to share," I say. My voice shakes a little at the beginning, but as the words come out, something surprising happens. They grow steadier. I talk for only 3 or 4 minutes, but when I finish, the room is quiet for a second. And then people smile and nod. My manager says, "That's a really good thought, David. Thank you." I sit back down, my legs trembling under the table. But inside my chest, something warm and bright is shining. I did it. I stepped into the fear, and the fear stepped aside. That evening, walking home under the first stars, I open my notebook once more and write with a happy heart, "Today I spoke, and the world did not end. Today I learned that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to take one more small step while your heart is still beating fast." I stand up. My knees feel weak. My voice starts small and uncertain, but with every word it grows stronger. I share my idea. When I finish, the room is quiet for a second. Then my manager smiles and says, "Alex, that's a really good idea. Let's look at it more closely." A warm wave moves through my whole body. I feel proud, not because the idea was perfect, but because I found the courage to open my mouth. That night, I write in my notebook, Courage is not the absence of fear. It is saying yes even when your heart is racing. Fear visits everyone, but every time we walk toward it, it loses a little of its power and we gain a little more of ours. Of course, not everything I try works perfectly. Some things go wrong, and that's all right. That's part of the road too. 1 month after my promise, I sign up for a beginner painting class. I've always loved looking at paintings, and secretly I imagine I'll be a hidden natural talent. The first evening arrives. My painting is terrible. The colors run into each other like muddy rivers. The tree I tried to paint looks more like a tired broccoli. Even the teacher raises an eyebrow and says kindly, "Well, keep going." I feel my face burn. I want to pack my brushes and never return. But then I hear my own promise again. I didn't promise to be perfect. I promised to try. So I come back. The second painting is still bad. The third one is a tiny bit better. The fourth one is funny rather than beautiful, but it makes me laugh out loud, and that feels like victory. That night I write, "Today I failed, and I am grateful." Failure is not the enemy of growth. Failure is one of its best teachers. As the weeks go by, I notice something else. I can be very hard on myself. I want to improve every single day. When I don't, I feel disappointed. One evening, I look in the mirror and almost scold myself. "Why aren't you better yet?" Then Samuel's gentle voice returns to me. "You wouldn't shout at a flower for not blooming fast enough. You would water it, give it light, and wait." I realize I need to do the same for myself. That night, I write myself a short letter. I forgive myself for every mistake. I thank myself for every effort. I promise to speak to myself the way I would speak to a dear friend, with kindness, patience, and love. The next morning, I wake up lighter. I walk slowly to work, enjoying the breeze, smiling at strangers, stopping for a moment just to watch the sea. I write in my notebook, "Being gentle with myself is not weakness. It is the quiet strength that keeps me growing." Growth is not only about what happens inside us, it is also about the people we walk with. One Saturday, I decide to volunteer at the community center. We clean a park and plant new flowers. There are children running around, parents, grandparents, everyone working together, and a woman about my mother's age tells me she moved here 5 years ago and felt lonely for a long time. "Volunteering gave me a family," she says. Her eyes shine when she speaks. Her words touch me deeply. We all long to feel seen, to belong, to matter. Helping others grow helps us grow too. At the end of the day, my hands are dirty, my back aches, but my heart is full. I write, "Growth is never a solo journey. The most beautiful paths are the ones we share. Sometimes growing means adding new things. Sometimes it means letting go." One quiet Sunday, I open an old box and find a notebook from 5 years ago, full of plans I never finished, dreams that no longer fit the person I am today. For a moment, sadness touches me. It feels like failure. Then I understand. It's not failure, it's evolution. It's okay to outgrow old dreams. It's okay to become bigger than yesterday's wishes. I take the notebook to the beach at sunset. I tear out the pages and let the wind carry them away. The waves wash my footprints from the sand. Letting go feels exactly like that, making soft, open space for whatever wants to come next. That night, I write, "Today, I let go. I let go of old plans, old fears, old versions of me. And in the quiet that is left behind, I can almost hear tomorrow whispering hello." 3 months have passed since the morning I made my promise. Many things look different now, but the deepest lesson is the simplest one. True growth usually happens in silence, in the soft space between one heartbeat and the next, in the pause before we take another small, brave step, in the gentle moment when we choose kindness over hurry, courage over comfort, and love, for ourselves and for the world, over fear. My friends, the story is still unfolding. There are many more quiet steps ahead. Keep listening. Keep breathing. Keep walking gently forward. You are growing, even when you cannot see it. And that is one of the most beautiful truths of all. One quiet Sunday morning, I choose to spend the entire day by myself. No phone calls, no scrolling online, no distractions at all. Just me, my own thoughts, and the stillness of the room. At first, it feels uncomfortable. My fingers keep reaching for my phone out of habit. My mind races with random worries and ideas. But slowly, something shifts. The clutter in my head, the doubts, the noise, the endless chatter begins to fade away. I sit near the window and watch the clouds drift lazily across the blue sky. I listen to the soft rhythm of my own breath. I feel the steady beat of my heart. In that deep quiet, I start to see myself more clearly. I think about what truly matters to me, not what friends expect, not what the world demands, but what feels right in my soul. That evening, I write in my notebook. Silence is not empty space. It is filled with quiet truths waiting to be heard. From that day, I weave small moments of silence into my days. A short walk without any music or voices in my ears. A few minutes just to sit and be. These pauses help me grow from deep within, like roots spreading underground. Growth is not always fast or flashy. Sometimes it is hidden and slow, like a seed pushing through soil long before anyone sees the green shoots. I learned this when I begin running. In the beginning, I can only go for 5 minutes before I am out of breath. I dream of running for hours, but my body says, not yet. It is tempting to feel upset, to think I am stuck. But I keep showing up. 5 minutes turn into 10. 10 into 20. Week after week, I feel a quiet strength building. One crisp morning, 3 months later, I run for a full hour without stopping. I pause by the ocean, breathing deeply, and smile wide. It was not sudden magic. It was steady effort, small steps, repeated with trust. This truth is bigger than running. It touches everything, building confidence, learning kindness, gaining wisdom. If we stay gentle and keep moving, the changes come. I write in my notebook, patience is not just waiting. It is believing that every small action plants a seed for something greater. One evening, I sit in my room and look around. Life is not perfect. There are still puzzles unsolved, worries that linger. But there is also so much beauty. A cozy home, simple meals on the table, friends who listen and care, a body that carries me through walks and runs, a mind that wonders and learns. I begin a new practice. Every night, I list 3 things I am thankful for. At first, they are everyday joys. I am thankful for the warm sun this morning, for a kind chat with Sarah, for a tasty meal. But slowly, my thanks grow deeper. I am thankful for quiet strength in hard moments, for lessons hidden in mistakes, for the gift of another day. One of the sweetest gifts in this journey is discovering that my growth can light the way for others. At the community center, a young boy named Leo starts volunteering. He is quiet and shy, always hiding in the background, just like I used to be. One afternoon, I sit beside him and say hello. We talk about his school days, his secret dreams, the things that make him nervous. I share my own story, how I faced my fears one small step at a time. Little by little, he shares more. Week after week, I watch him bloom. He speaks up with the group. He even guides a little planting project one Saturday. Seeing him change shows me this. When we grow, we make room for others to rise too. Our bravery can spark theirs. Our gentle words can plant hope. I write in my notebook, growth spreads like sunlight. The more we share it, the brighter we all become. One cozy evening, Samuel invites me to his house for tea. His small room is warm, lined with old books, faded photos, and the scent of polished wood. We sit near the flickering fire as he shares stories, from his boyhood adventures, from faraway trips, from joys and heartaches. Some tales bring laughter, others bring quiet tears. But everyone holds a lesson. Stories are how we weave meaning into life, he says softly. They show us our roots and point us toward the horizon. I realize my own path is a story too, not one of flawless wins, but of gentle unfolding. Every page, even the shadowed ones, adds to the whole. Back home, I flip through my notebook from that very first morning. Each entry is a thread in the tale. I smile, feeling a soft pride. And I know the story is still being written. Seasons turn, and so do we. When I began this path, it was early spring, chilly dawns, empty paths, the world waking up. Now, many months later, autumn has come. The air carries a crisp edge. Leaves glow in gold and crimson. Days shorten, but the sunsets burn with color. I wander through the park, watching trees release their leaves. It seems like a farewell at first glance, but I know it is renewal. The trees are not ending. They are resting, gathering strength for fresh beginnings. I have changed too. The man strolling here is calmer, bolder, more at peace with his own heart. Growth hides in the quiet corners. It whispers rather than shouts. But when you glance back, the distance traveled shines clear. I write in my notebook, change is not something to run from. It is the heartbeat of being alive. My friends, as this story comes to a gentle close, remember this. Growth is not about perfection or quick answers. It is about showing up, one small choice at a time, one day after another. Some days you will soar, others you will wander. Both belong to the path. Do not hurry. Do not measure yourself against anyone else. Trust your own quiet rhythm. Cheer for your tiny wins. Learn from the stumbles. And keep stepping forward, softly and true. Thank you for sharing this hour with me on English Unlock. I'm Alex, and I'll see you next time. Keep listening, keep growing, keep believing in the wonderful person you are. Goodbye for now.